Hello again, and let's look at the Sunday Gospel for the third Sunday of Lent. It's on March 7th, and it's John chapter 2, 13 to 25. Now, before we explore this passage, I want to point out that beginning in the third week of Lent and going for the third, fourth, and fifth Sundays of each Lent, there's an option for which gospel to use. If a parish has an active RCIA, catechumenal process going on, and people in that process, they can choose the cycle A reading for that year, even if it's a B or C year. There are 3 years in our 3-year cycle, A, B, and C. We're in year B, but the cycle A readings can apply for these coming 3 weeks. So I'm going to look at the cycle B reading, which is normative for us this year. But keep in mind that these 3 readings for cycle A that we call the scrutiny gospels tell us wonderful insights about Jesus. So I'll mention it each week. This week, the gospel, cycle A for week 3 of Lent, is the woman at the well, where Jesus encounters a woman and she's drawing water, and they talk about what water is and how Jesus is living water, and she wants that water. So the insight there that the church provides is, who is Jesus? One of the ways we can understand him is he is water. He is life. Water is life, and Jesus is life, essential as water to our well-being and to our salvation. So looking at our gospel for cycle B from John's gospel, we hear about what we think of as the experience of Jesus in the temple with the money changers. And Jesus enters into the area where there's commerce going on. There's the selling of oxen, sheep, doves, money changers, because there were different currencies that would be brought to Jerusalem from different parts of the world. And the money changers always had an exchange rate that was favorable to them. And of course, all of these animals were being sold to be part of ritual sacrifice that would be done in the temple. That was a key element to what happened at the temple, was the slaughtering and the sacrificing of animals as something that was pleasing to God and fulfilling their religious obligation. And so there was a lot of marketplace commerce, and Jesus knew full well, as a human being and also divinely able to see into the hearts of people, that a lot of this was not of God, that there was no righteous, holy intentions or motivations. It was about making money and probably fleecing people. And that it was probably a great way to make money on these religious pilgrims who came to the temple. And we see the reaction of Jesus. It's visceral. He makes a cord, a whip out of cords, and he goes about overturning tables and berating the money changers and those engaged in the commerce, saying, "Take these out of here and stop making my Father's house a marketplace." And then there's a quote from Scripture that is recalled, "Zeal for your house will consume me." The idea that Jesus was righteously angered by the misuse and the malintentions that he was encountering relating to commerce in this holy place of worship. What does this tell us? Jesus is human. He experienced anger. He experienced zeal for his Father. I do believe there is such a thing as righteous anger, and we're certainly seeing it here from Jesus, who is fully human and fully divine. He wants to protect his Father's home. He wants it to be used for proper and right religious practices. And then he says something that is rich with theological fodder for conversation and reflection. He says, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. And of course, they thought, well, this is a huge temple that's been under construction for 46 years. And how will you do that? They were probably ridiculing him. And it says here, he was talking about his body. It was a foreshadowing of his death and his resurrection. So, powerful, visceral experience of Jesus, righteously angered, and not in this moment being soft, warm, and fuzzy, but having an edge to him. What do we do with that? I think it gives us a fuller, richer understanding of the person of Jesus, and that he was not a wimp. He was strong. He was courageous. He was willing to step out. I mean, this is why ultimately he's executed. He was zealous for fulfilling his Father's mission. And that's what he was about, and nothing was going to stand in his way, and he wasn't going to pull punches. And it's an invitation for us to consider, are we brave and courageous and willing to be prophetic where humbly we are called to speak and to act for love of God and for people? And then towards the end of the gospel, he goes out into Jerusalem, and many see what he's doing, and they come to believe. So he continues to win people to him. He must have been a contradiction where some people were turned off by his actions in the temple, and some, their eyes opened wide and said, oh my gosh, who is this? This is somebody who's authentic and is not like the other guys we've seen come through here, claiming to be prophets or claiming to be the Messiah. This guy is different. He's willing to take chances for righteousness' sake.